was you!
I was so not made for public speaking, honestly. I've been working here for almost 5 years now. I turned 5 next month, but this is my very first free town hall, and I'm very nervous. Thank you. Before I start, I'd like just to ask one thing, just this one thing. I know it's very hard, but if you could close your laptops for just a couple of minutes, prepare something to share, and I'll really appreciate it if you could give me a couple minutes of your attention. Thank you very much. Well, this is my story. My name is Volmer. As I said, I've been working here for almost 5 years. And this is probably how you know me on Slack. It's not me in the picture, but if you've never met in person, please know that you were talking to me when you saw that person, okay? I like this picture. This is actually me. And it was taken in the Lego pairing room here on the 3rd floor by one of my interns in November 2017. It is me enjoying a nice cup of soy latte. And this photo is special because there was something I didn't know about myself when that picture was taken, and something most of you can't notice either, is that at that time, I was dying. And I was dying because I had cancer. 1 month after the picture was taken, on December 22nd, 2017, the last day before the holiday break, I went to the emergency after feeling some mild symptoms that honestly I thought I'll be in the office for lunch. But instead I took the whole day of exams and tests, and by the end of that Friday, I was talking to an oncologist, getting the news that I had cancer. And it was testicular cancer, to be more specific. Now, before I proceed, there are some facts about testicular cancer I'd like to share. First of all, it is rare. For comparison, about 1 man in every 250 will develop testicular cancer during his lifetime, compared to prostate cancer that happens in 1 man in every 9. You see, testicular cancer is very rare. The causes are known. Age is a risk factor. It is the most common type of cancer in young men, ages between 15 and 35. And testicular cancer is highly treatable, especially when diagnosed early. I didn't really have time to think about all of this. Getting these news had shaken down everything I knew about myself and all my plans and everything. But the thing that happens right after you're diagnosed is that you had to undergo surgery to remove the tumor. No questions about that. So before I even had more information about my case, I went through surgery 5 days later, right in the middle of the holiday break on December 27th, 2017. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest holiday season for sure. And I remember being in a state of denial about all this. I couldn't really accept that I had cancer, even with surgery, even me going to the hospital, doing all the procedure and everything. I didn't want to talk about it. And when I had to talk about it, I would phrase it as something like, oh, doctors believe it could be cancer, but they were actually telling you have cancer. No questions about that. And I even came back to work after 2 weeks of surgery when I had time to recover. I was here on January last year. I was here when the 3rd floor was open and everything. But the denial phase couldn't really last that long after I got more facts about what was going on with me. Because after you get the tumor removed, they analyze it, you do CT scans, you do blood tests, and then you get all the details about what's going on with you. Back to testicular cancer, is the way it's classified, it's divided into 3 different stages. Now we're talking about staging of the cancer, of course. And for testicular cancer, there are 3. Stage 1 is when the tumor is all in the testicle and it has not spread. When diagnosed at this stage, the 5-year survival rate, so just to clarify, cancer usually the survival rate is still on a 5-year survival rate, meaning after you're diagnosed, what are the odds of you still being alive after 5 years? So stage 1 of testicular cancer, the survival rates for 5 years is close to 99%. So it's highly treatable. Stage 2 is when the cancer has spread to 1 or more lymph nodes in the groin, so nearby organs. When diagnosed at this stage, the 5-year survival rate is between 80 and 95%, and the gap here is because the stages are also divided into ABC. And stage 3 is the last stage of testicular cancer. It means cancer has spread into distant organs such as the lungs, the liver, and brain. When diagnosed at this stage, the 5-year survival rate is between 50 and 74%. On my case, I received the pathology results, the CT scan results, everything at the end of January last year. And it revealed that the tumor I had was partly composed by the most aggressive type of testicular cancer and had already spread to my lungs. I had 7 tumors spread throughout my lungs, which classified me on the last stage of testicular cancer. And that I had no other option if I wanted to keep on living other than do chemotherapy. I had really no idea about what I was signing up for. I didn't have cases of cancer in my family. I never followed closely anybody who went through chemo, and I didn't know what to expect. It turns out chemotherapy was the hardest moment of my life. This is a picture of the view we have on the 15th floor of the CHUM, the mega hospital we have close here. That's where I was treated. And the 15th floor is the chemotherapy floor. I did 3 rounds of chemotherapy of 3 weeks each, which isn't very long compared to treatment to other types of cancer, but for testicular cancer, the protocol is very intense and very hard. On the most intensive weeks, I would have to be in the hospital from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and receive 5 liters of toxic substances delivered to my bloodstream. Chemo basically attacks your whole body, hoping that cancer cells will die faster than you. And you develop a long list of expected and unexpected side effects. These are some of the side effects that I developed myself during that time. Chemo directly affected my immune system, so any infection could become fatal, which forced me to have to stay home as much as I could, with precautions about food, etc. I couldn't take public transport anymore. Seeing people in general became a concern, so if I would go out, I had to wear a mask. If people came to visit me, they would have to wear a mask. Chemo also caused a permanent state of pain all around my body. My body got swollen by liquid retention. I lost all my hair and beard, of course. I couldn't walk properly because my nerves got compromised, so I didn't have the strength to stand up straight. It was very hard to eat anything. Any food would taste like metal in my mouth. Of course, I had nausea, which is one of the most common side effects of chemo. All of this made it very hard for me to eat or to drink water, and I got weaker and weaker over time. I got permanent skin rashes due to one of the chemo drugs I received. I also had hearing compromised. I had heart problems, kidney damage, lungs got damaged. I lost sensitivity in my hands and my feet, and other things I don't remember anymore. This is one of the rare pictures I have of me in chemo, because I didn't want to be photographed about this, because I was kind of like ashamed of myself. And these are one of the things I suffered in my body, okay? But chemo also took a big toll on my mind. Being ill and handling these side effects led me in a state of mind doctors call the chemo brain, or chemo fog, in which you can't really think straight or have focus on anything. I couldn't read, I couldn't watch a movie, anything that required concentration. And through the pain of chemo, I couldn't escape or hide the fact that I was very sick. There was no denial anymore. I had cancer, and that I was indeed dying. Looking myself in the mirror, kind of deformed, sickling, was to face a disease that would bring my life to an end. I wouldn't go back to live a normal life. Life started to feel incredibly unfair. Why me? Why now? And so I got depressed and also extremely anxious about the effectiveness of my treatment and the lack of a future inside. The endless state of pain convinced me at some point that my case was hopeless. I didn't have tests to show that the treatment was effective or not. And every additional week in chemo would bring me more and more despair about my future. And being locked in my bed also degraded my mental health. It reduced the world I knew to the hospital and my bedroom pretty much. I could only overcome this because I had help, both professional and help of my family and friends. This picture was taken by one of the few pleasant days I had during chemo when my uncle took me for a walk around Chinatown. I was really, really afraid that any of you would spot me on the streets because I didn't want this to happen. But this is me a very nice picture that I have now. My mother and my uncle, by the way, they flew all the way from Brazil, facing the distance and the harsh Canadian winter to assist me on everything. And I could also count over and over with true and lovely friends that are family to me and who help me and support me in so many ways. And you know, like, one of the few truths in life is that everything ends eventually. No matter how terrible a situation may be, it will pass. And in the moment I was hopeless the most, I stuck with that one hope, that one day chemo would end. And I endured one day after the next, feeling ever so weak, ever so tired, but it passed. And I was still alive. And so I completed my treatment and I survived. Spring came, and with it, I started a slow recovery cycle. Day after day, I was feeling a little bit better, a little bit stronger. On April last year, I got my first results after chemo, which would show how effective the treatment was. And the results were very good. From 7 tumors I had in my lungs, there were only 2 left, and cancer markers in my blood went back to normal. The good news gave me a new energy, a desire to live, to be well and healthy, and to believe that the future is bright. I came back to work in June, and meeting all of you were here a year ago, and also making new friends, because, you know, the office doubles in 4 months. Something also very special happened on the very first days of June last year, that I was granted a Canadian citizenship by the government of Canada. And I received that after living here for the time required. And by passing the citizenship test, a test I made while I was in chemo, and I still don't understand how I was able to study, to do it, and to pass it, but I did. And I was very happy for this accomplishment in the end. And I attended the ceremony still with short hair. And what now? Now I'm in remission, which means there are no signs of the disease. My lungs are all clear. No cancer markers in my blood anymore. This is a picture of me 5 months after chemo, September last year. And now I'm on a surveillance protocol. So I have to come back to the hospital and get rechecked and redo all the exams for the next 5 years on the best case scenario. So, you know, it's kind of like a tradition to just go on the street, go there, redo all the exams over and over and over. And this is a picture of a special entrance cancer patients have. And this is the door I go through once a month. Now it's once every 2 months, so it's not that bad. And nowadays the battle I have is with anxiety about what's going to happen. And the daily fear I have that I face of premature death. I know the fear of recurrence will haunt me for the rest of my life. I have to cope with these fears every day, the fear that cancer might come back, the fear that I might have leukemia later on during chemotherapy, or due to the fact that I'm bombed with radiation on a regular basis from my CT scans, or that I may develop a secondary testicular cancer because people who went through this disease once has much higher chance to have it again. but being positive and focusing on things that are in the present and letting go of the aspects that I don't control are key to live as a cancer survivor. I try to practice acceptance towards who I am and the things that happen to me, so I have joy and peace in life. I think I'm getting a little bit better at acceptance every day. So that's my story. And a few things that I would like for you to keep about this. First of all, for my male friends, of course, get informed about testicular cancer. Most of us are in the age group where the risk is the highest. So testicular cancer, as I said, is highly treatable if diagnosed early. So get informed, know how to perform self-exams, or ask your doctor for a scan or blood test. Because although it's rare, it's definitely worth to do anything you can. So if by any chance you might develop this disease, you can catch it early on the early stages. And for everybody else, your life is beautiful, it's precious. So take good care of yourself. Enjoy and value each breath, each heartbeat, remembering that you have a limited amount of them. So eat healthy, be active, be with people you love and make new connections. Live the present moment. The past is unchangeable. The future is not under your control. So enjoy life today. And finally, if you're dealing with a difficult situation or a chronic disease or has a family member who's going through this, open a conversation with your friends or people you trust, seek professional help, or come talk to me. I'm here to help too. I'm happy to share about my story, about my struggles, and so we can share experiences. And before I go, I just would like to say thanks to a few special people. The first, Pedro. Where's Pedro? You can see him. There he is. So Pedro and his wife, Flavia, they were there for me from the day of my surgery and through all the weeks of chemo, making me company, assisting me on everything, cooking for me. I know Pedro for over 10 years now, and once again, he showed how a great and true friend he is. So thank you very much for everything you did to me, man. And of course, Arthur. Arthur was my company and support throughout all this journey. Where is he? Oh, there he is. It's recording for me. Assisting me and my family. He assembled furniture for me, took care of logistics around my treatment. Many times he told his team, I am WFH, and people assuming it was like working from home, but the H stands for hospital. So he would take his MacBook and go and to be with me while I was in chemo. And he gave me hope the moments I was hopeless. He would push me and give me calls and saying like, just 10 more days and this will be gone. Just 8 more days, 5 more days. And he helped me count the moment that I will be free from my suffering. So thank you very much for everything you did to me. You and your family, Silvia as well. Mateus, Arthur's stepson. I don't know if you know, but Mateus is Arthur's stepson. Where are you? Nancy. Thank you for being with me too, man. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Arthur, for not losing faith that one day we'll be laughing about these pictures.
Fuck off.
Yeah. And finally, everyone who visited me. So Nima, JP, Rafael and Gabi from Ottawa, and everybody who delivered to me these amazing flowers and signed the cards. It was probably such a small gesture to send me those notes, but it made a huge difference. For real, you have no idea how much happier I was in those days after I received those cards from you. So thank you very much for everybody who signed it. And of course, Douglas. Where's Douglas? There you go, man. You too. Thanks for visiting me. Thanks for bringing me homemade bread. Remember that? I remember when Douglas came, and he made bread. Brought to me for us to eat with coffee and butter. And I remember one day, he came to me and said, hey, I started climbing. with a couple of people from the office, and it would be great, after you're well, if you could join us. And he told this to someone who was like, couldn't even walk properly. And I said, yes, I would love to. As soon as I'm better, as soon as I'm recovered, I will join you. So this is me doing my first before in April this year. So a year after. A year ago, I couldn't even walk straight. So this is a big accomplishment for me. And of course, I had all your help along the way, so thank you very much. So yeah, finish it. Do it. Yeah, spoiler alert, I do it in the end. Yeah, I do it. I just took my time. Yeah, nice, yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. My name is Bomer. I am a cancer survivor. And to the God of death, I say, not today. Thank you very much. I love you all.